This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by nhliberty.org.
Hey, Ridley Report, Ridley here, signing in for RidleyReport.com this December 28th, 2008. I had an idea I wanted to bounce off you guys, an idea that actually came from an opponent of the Free State Project, a person who used to angrily blog against us. But he's someone who I've gotten to know since and become a friendly acquaintance with. His name is Chaz Prohl. He's a prominent Democrat activist, fairly prominent Democrat activist in New Hampshire. Before I ever met Chaz, he wrote a blog, sort of a blog post, sort of about me. He was complaining about something that I did. I had requested that a bill be submitted to the State House. A bill, I called it the Katrina Bill, a bill which would make it illegal for authorities to seize firearms during, times of disaster, basically. And it had a penalty. And this bill, was popular in a lot of circles. It got a lot of publicity and everything, but didn't really have much chance of passing. And so Chaz Prohl's argument was, well, Ridley shouldn't have done this because he shouldn't have requested that that bill be submitted because it costs taxpayers money to kill the bill. He said it costs about $1,500 to have a hearing at the State House, even though the reps don't get paid or anything. There's not too much in the way of expenses, but it's $1,500 to kill a bill. And they did kill mine, although another version of the bill did come back up, and that one did pass into law. But the argument that Chaz made, I have to admit, was sound, and I've taken his advice, and I've stopped submitting bills to the State House. Or I guess I've stopped requesting that bills be submitted, because it's very easy for a civilian, a citizen in New Hampshire, to go to a state rep and have them submit a bill at your request. It's not difficult at all. But anyway, I've stopped doing that pretty much. I'm not saying I would never do it, but I'm definitely reluctant to do it, and I have stopped, at least for the last couple of years. Anyway, what he gave... His objection gave me another idea. What if, instead of just me stopping, we could get a lot of lawmakers stopping their process of submitting laws? And the way I think this might be done is if you'd have, like, say, some of the most pro-liberty reps in the State House, maybe instead of them submitting a bunch of bills every year, maybe one of them could just make a non-aggression pact with, say, one of the most authoritarian reps in the State House. So Representative Libertarian Representative A, and Authoritarian Representative B just get together and they make what I call a non-aggression pact, where they say, I won't submit any legislation this year if you don't submit any legislation this year. And I won't put my name on any legislation this year if you don't put your name on any legislation this year. This might be something we could do that would reduce the number of hearings that are being held at the State House. It would be good for all the state reps, no matter what their ideology is. It would also be good to help keep state expenses down slightly. And I think it would just send a message. It would start getting this idea out there that maybe we should have fewer laws, fewer bills, fewer hearings. It's something that is within the power, I think, of any... If you just get two of the right kinds of reps, just two reps could make it happen. If you got the right libertarian and the right authoritarian. One of the problems that might come up if you were trying to get this to happen, if you were a state rep trying to find another state rep to make a non-aggression pact with, maybe you wouldn't be able to succeed. Well, in that case, maybe even from the beginning, what you could do is make a PR issue out of it. It might be almost better if the authoritarians don't want to play along, because then you could hold news conferences or something like that, saying, I'm putting out this, offer to the big government people, and this will help everybody. Even the big government people have been asking for it to some extent, and yet none of them, for some reason, will come forward and help me. So they must want a lot of expensive hearings. So it would be a great tool to kind of put pressure on the authoritarians in the House, and it could be a sort of a propaganda. You could have a propaganda victory by trying to do this, whether you succeeded or not. There's even a place right down there in the lower level of the Legislative Office building where such a news conference could be held. It would be like falling off a log, very easy to do. Anyway, so that's just my idea, and hat tip to Chaz Prohl, my erstwhile opponent, who I think had a good idea. I'm willing to take good ideas from whatever source. And, of course, I like Chaz a lot personally, even if he's an opponent of ours. This is Dave Ridley signing off for RidleyReport.com this December 28th, 2008. But first...
NHLiberty.org